We begin with a major update in a story we've been following for nearly 2 years now. The state of Missouri essentially trashes a controversial plan to build a landfill in South Kansas City, a plan neighbors fought tooth and nail. It would have been built just south of 150 Highway, a little more than a half mile from the Raymore city line. That distance with adjoining cities was a major sticking point since the project sat just outside that half-mile buffer zone on the books. A massive lobbying effort worked to expand buffer zones to a mile in Kansas City, barring landfills in that space unless the neighboring city approves it. In their second attempt, the Missouri General Assembly passed the changes, sending the bill to Governor Mike Parson. But it took a multi-million-dollar settlement between Raymore and the developer to help make that happen.
It's unusual, but the fact that we have to step in at either the county or the municipal level is not unprecedented.
I want people to know that their local governments care. They hear them, they react to their input, and I believe that Raymore was respectful to what the folks in our community had to say, and we fought hard for them.
Raymore Mayor Chris Turnbow, who you just saw there, says several people left town in fear of what the project would mean for their properties and their health. Leaders are hoping for better communication and even regional plans to prevent something like this from happening again. Here to discuss the issue and many other headlines in Kansas and Missouri, please welcome back Ryan Ellison, host contributor with KCUR, and KMBC9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. All right, gentlemen, it took 2 sessions and an outside deal with millions of taxpayer dollars on the line to get past filibusters and get this thing passed.
You know, the old saying, you can't fight City Hall. Well, apparently you can, and you can fight the state legislature. The fact that they got this done, although it did take 2 sessions, was an impressive piece of grassroots organizing by the folks around Raymore. Absolutely.
It does speak to the willingness of the state legislature increasingly, and this is not new, but we talk about it a little more each year, to step into local matters and to tell municipalities what they can and can't do, with a lot of those decisions being made by lawmakers who are not from either the Kansas City or St. Louis metro areas. So here we see it again. In this case, there's some surrounding communities that are very glad about that.
Right, and it could lead to a larger conversation down the line because the sponsor said this only applies to Kansas City. We'll be watching. Speaking of Kansas City, we saw a lot of headlines, a lot of back and forth over the mayor's comments on immigration earlier this month. He wrote, "All are welcome in Kansas City," linking to a Bloomberg article discussing migrants being welcome to KC. What's the latest on that, Brian?
Well, the mayor, of course, has clarified, and it is true that he did not say anything about undocumented immigrants coming. He was talking about workers who were here legally and saying, we can put them to work. This is a welcoming community that would love to have them. Of course, it got a lot of blowback from the Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, and from lawmakers who, as recently as a couple of days ago, were adding amendments to the Missouri budget in the Senate Appropriations Committee that would say if Kansas City violates the anti-sanctuary city bills in Missouri, the city will be penalized. It won't get any more money, and it will have to pay back money from state agencies it's received.
And the interesting thing is that those amendments almost slipped through undetected. And finally, it was State Senator Barbara Washington from Kansas City said, wait a minute here, what's in here? And it remains to be seen how this plays out beyond being just a political flogging boy down in Jefferson City, whether or not it's constitutional even to claw back that money.
Well, and let's be clear, the mayor and city council have never proposed Kansas City become a sanctuary city.
And they can't. There are no sanctuary cities in the state.
And he said, we are not a sanctuary
Right.
city.
Nothing they've suggested would trigger these budget provisions. So they seem to be, as many things are, an expression of political theater, not something that's actually been threatened.
Let's talk about political theater, especially in Jeff City. A few weeks left in the session, right? But lately it's been marred by an ethics investigation and the controversy surrounding House Speaker Dean Plocher, who's now running for Secretary of State. What are you hearing on this?
That it continues to be an issue down in Jefferson City. The Speaker tried to call a session of the House Ethics Committee meeting, but the chairman of the Ethics Committee said, I didn't call the meeting, we're not going to have a meeting.
Right.
So this is going to linger through the session, the remaining 3 weeks of it, and they've still got some heavy lifting to do down there. I mean, it's not like they coast to the finish.
And yet, this is the Speaker's last year in the office. There is a lot of attention being paid to it. It certainly could hurt his election chances, but it doesn't seem like it's going to have much impact on the legislative agenda. Things continue to move forward in the House even as he comes under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but having something like this hang over the last 3 weeks of the session where they've got to pass a budget, there are other issues that have to be dealt with. If there's a crisis or a handicap in leadership, that doesn't that's not good for the final stretch.
Yeah.
I want to end in Kansas real quick because just last week, Governor Laura Kelly vetoed a sweeping tax reform package that she called too expensive. This could be attached to her legacy, I think.
I think it's going to be a big part of her legacy to see what she does. Remember that in the Kansas House, this passed, I believe it was 119 to nothing. There were no dissenting votes. So even the Democrats from Laura Kelly's party, voted for this thing. It also has a veto-proof majority in the Senate. We'll see where this goes.
Right. I think there are political implications for her last 2 years in office. Is this worth taking a stand on? If this causes financial implications for the state that end up putting the pinch on taxpayers, she may get some credit after the fact for having tried to avoid those outcomes.
What she did do is she dropped the rate on the 3 remaining rates. So, you know.
Something we're going to be watching for the days and weeks ahead. Michael Mahoney, Brian Allison, thank you so much. KMBC9 keeping tabs on developments in Topeka, Jeff City, and here at home. Look for updates on air and online at KMBC.com.